Good morning, everybody. Well, it's morning here, and welcome to the fourth video in the series. And you're getting close now to giving you your feedback. And if there are any stragglers out there who are potentially struggling to get their surveys done, please give them some encouragement. Please ask them to help for their help, because all the feedback that we can get is good for you and good for the leadership group. So anyway, we are nearly there in terms of getting the feedback, but the fourth video is massively important because this is to help you get your heads really in the right place for moving forward post that feedback. And what I want to share with you today is something called the Xcellence Framework. And it's really all about growing yourselves. And what I mean is by improving your capabilities and abilities, as well as your people's. And what we have done is created a framework that can help that. And we've described it and we call it an Xcellence Framework. And right at the heart of the Xcellence Framework is something called the Excellence Wheel. And what I'm going to do is share my screen and explain what that Excellence Wheel is. And hopefully it will start to get your juices flowing as to, well, how might this Excellence Wheel, first of all, how is it going to be relevant to us as a leadership team? And then as well as that is, how will this be relevant to my department and my team and or teams that I am responsible for? So let me quickly share the screen. And let me explain to you what this Excellence Framework is all about. Okay, what I'm showing you here is, as I described, something called the Excellence Wheel. And let me just explain to you what you're looking at. If you remember, the last two videos have been around these two key concepts of, one, having a really good mindset and attitude. And the second point is around being productive and effective. Productivity particularly being the focus. What the Excellence Wheel will describe to you is that, as you can see, those top two, if you want to, on the right-hand side, the mindset and attitude and productivity and effectiveness, they have by far the biggest multiplying effect on one's ability to do one's job. Having the right mindset, having the right focus, can multiply one's ability to do one's job by up to 8 times. Crazy, I know, but it can be through research. And I think we all know, probably, again, this is up to, not necessarily for everybody, but up to 5 times when it comes to productivity and effectiveness. And then if you'll notice through the rest of the wheel, if you can imagine every role in the company, every role will need a different type of skill. So we've just labeled these professional skill 1, professional skill 2, professional skill 3, and the knowledge needed in order to, for that individual, whether that be you or people in your team, to be really outstanding in their job. And it's essential that we define these things. Just like, as you can see, we've defined what a positive mindset and attitude looks like, as well as productivity and effectiveness, we also need to do the same thing for all the different skills and knowledge required for each role. But the crucial thing is, guys, that what this is about is taking personal ownership. This is effectively your route map and anyone's route map to become extremely good at your job. So just imagine, we can define this for you and your leadership group, so you can have a leadership profile here. But equally, you can then define this for salespeople, for marketeers, for people in the factory floor, for whatever role you can imagine. But the crucial thing is that it's a route map. It's a roadmap to improvement. And moving out of this, moving out of the lockdown, moving out of this COVID slumber, we absolutely need to focus on how do we get better. Because doing what we've done always is not going to get it done. It's not going to get the job done. I think we all know that. We're coming out, we're going to have to be doing things different, better, newer, etc., to really come out of this strongly. So it all comes down to defining this for everybody and then helping people to get better in their jobs, step up, improve, raise the bar, whatever cliche you want to use. So let me just explain quickly, just a quick reminder. Well, these first two elements are, as we know, key. So just to remind you, it is essential that the positive attitude, service focus, creative thinking, team working, personal accountability, those are key elements, as we know, to having the right mindset around your business. And this is where, just so you know, guys, this is where you can start thinking about your culture as a business. Culture is the intangible thing that is, one would argue, the most important thing, because that is what makes your business special. And if everyone in your business, imagine if everyone in your business signed up to having a great mindset and attitude and lived out these values and virtues and behaviors, what an amazing place it would be. And that's what I want for all of you in this pilot, is for that to happen. And it's not going to happen overnight, as you can imagine, but it's something that we can work and help you towards. And the second piece of this is around productivity and effectiveness. And we touched on that in the last video, and how important it is to be clear of what your goals are and what the outcomes, what a good outcome looks like. Understanding what planning genuinely and properly means. How does one stay focused? And also, how does one remain consistent and deliver consistently in a good way? Accepting, guys, that perfect isn't always needed. And I think sometimes, and we'll touch on this again in the feedback session, but perfect isn't always required. In fact, it's rarely ever needed. And often that's what sometimes stops us from being consistent. So that is the excellence wheel. This is something that we have developed and are continuing to develop. And it's something that if one really takes on board, you can't fail but to improve and grow as a business. And so we can talk about this more in the feedback session. What I'd encourage you to do is rewatch this video and maybe think through what are possibly those professional skills that are needed in each role in your team or department. What are those professional skills needed? For example, I'll use a sales role. Someone in sales needs to be able to prospect and network, effectively find new opportunities. They also need to be really good within a meeting to be able to explain and effectively, just in a compelling way. They also need to be able to close and negotiate as well. So those are potentially skills needed for a sales role. And then the requirements from a professional knowledge perspective is that they need to understand their competitors. They also need to understand their marketplace and also their products. So that kind of gives you an example of what a role could look like and how to define it. So enough of that. Thank you for watching all these videos. I hope this one particularly has been useful. This is something which I think is going to be really important for all you as all pilot businesses moving forward. And we can talk about it some more in the feedback session. But hopefully you should have in your diary, or if not, it will be in your diary very soon, what that date and time will be. I look forward to speaking to you then. And until then, I hope everything goes well.